Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This commentary for The Bridge, Season 2, Episode 5, Eye of the Deep. And oh my god, this episode was amazing. I mean, seriously, this episode was by far the best episode of the season. One of the best things they decided to do in this episode was definitely bring back last season's villain, who again, I did not see Season 1, so I didn't really know about this villain, but wow, the show's gonna get a lot more interesting because of this, and I absolutely love this episode. Really looking forward to the next episode. I mean, this episode was just awesome, so let's just get to it. So we see David Tate, who is last season's villain. He is now in prison, and he's mopping up the lunchroom, and he gets attacked by his fellow inmates, and that was like a huge scene. A guard comes in, but the guard does not come in to rescue him. They come in to assist the prisoners in actually beating him. So she escorts Tate to an empty hallway, takes a punch in the face after sharing a kiss with one of the inmates, lets Tate take a brutal stabbing to the eye, and, yeah, so definitely that was definitely Fato Galvin's handiwork, so definitely, I thought that was definitely very, very intense, just a great way to start the episode. So Galvin's intention become much more apparent when we see Marco in the back seat of the van with a bag over his head. He's taken to Galvin's son's memorial, where the cartel leader tells Marco his tale of revenge, which is his son's killer decapitated head is preserved and placed near the body. So Galvin knows Marco's pain of outliving his son and offers him a chance at revenge. So Sonya, in the meantime, she's holding her breath. Literally, her fixation with she's holding her breath, and she surfaces under the bathtub, and she sees Dobbs, because, she really, was upset that Dobbs died last week, and that Jack did not tell her that he died, of course, because, again, that was her sister's killer. So he then disappears, and it startles her, and she ends up getting ready for work, and she expresses a lot of interest in attending Jim's funeral, which I can understand. I mean, this was her sister's killer, so obviously this guy was very important to her finding, definitely. But Jack says he decides to, he doesn't have any plans for it, but for whatever he decides to do, she wants to be there. And surprisingly, she kisses him goodbye, so it seems like she's actually okay with him now. I don't know. I guess maybe she forgave him for what he did. I thought that was definitely very surprising. So Sonya's becoming a little bit more emotionally invested in Jack, definitely very interesting. So we'll talk a little bit more about Jack and Sonya in a little bit. Let's get back to Marco. Basically, Marco wakes up at home. He's very safe. He goes through some paperwork, and he's rolling the sheets up in an envelope, and he goes to the secretary of the police office to hold on to, So Robles confronts Marco about the prosecutor's intentions, and there's a clear underlying threat to this world. Marco assures him that he has it covered, and basically, after his little talk with the CIA, the DEA agent isn't backing down. He enlists Daniel Fry to help look into the investigation, basically, and it's revealed that it is actually the DEA that has been leaking information about the Quintana case to Daniel all this time. And I definitely thought that was definitely very interesting. This is about Daniel Najram. We'll get to that in a second, but, basically, what ends up happening after that is that, we see that, the same gang of kids who had robbed Ray and stole Galvin's drugs are having a house party. So, as promised, Galvin's drugs are having as promised, Galvin's men storm the party, shoot all the kids dead except one who leaves alive and unscathed. So, Sonia is very worried about Marco. She hasn't heard from him all day, so she decides to call him, and the prosecutor is also very worried, so he goes looking for Marco. Marco is actually at his home, and the police have been keeping an eye on Marco. They attack the prosecutor. Sonya surprises and stops them before they can take their scare tactic a little farther. And it seems like, I'm interested in seeing where this is gonna go, but, it's definitely very interesting, because Sonya basically, we'll talk about Sonya in a second, what ends up happening there, but basically, what ended up happening was, we see that, Marco actually is very serious about revenge on Tate. He really wants revenge on Tate, because when he found out that Tate was alive, I mean, that was a huge thing, because basically what he decides, when he finds out that Tate's in that hospital, basically, he hops into one of Galvin's men's vans, changes clothes, gets into a box to be smuggled into the prison, and, this is when shit is really going down. I mean, this scene was just awesome, right? What happens after this. So Galvin has got the whole jail working for him. Marco is passed along through the prison, and he's given a weapon. Finally, he faces Tate, and Tate is lying helpless in bed. You know, he's in bed, recuperating from the attack we saw in the beginning of the episode. And Tate asks Marco to finish him off, basically, because he wants him to. So Marco gets close, takes a knife to his neck, but then he backs off. Because he doesn't think he should do it. But then he decides to stab Tate's injured eye with his finger. And he says, "You're not getting off so easy, asshole." And then he leaves. So he's not going to do what Tate wants. And I definitely feel like Marco is going to get his revenge on Tate. I don't know specifically what Tate did, because I did not see Season 1. If you guys could let me know what he did, I really would appreciate that. But I don't really know exactly what he did, but definitely whatever he did, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see what happened there. But yeah, I thought the main plot was definitely very interesting. Really enjoyed it. Let's go over to Sonya. So Sonya, as I said, she is really grieving over Dobbs. You know, she keeps seeing Dobbs, and basically seeing how Sonya's become more emotionally invested in Jack makes me not look forward to when she is actually going to get her heart broken by whatever he and Hank are hiding from her. Because, of course, they're hiding something from her, and we still don't know what it is. So I still find that very interesting. So we see Jack once again looking over the drawings from Dobbs that Sonya had kept, and definitely I thought that was definitely very interesting. I definitely thought that, yeah, so that was definitely very interesting. And basically what ended up happening after that is we see the well-intentioned prosecutor meets with Sonya and Hank to get to Eva's deposition, and Marco is supposed to be with them, but they don't know that Galvin is occupied elsewhere, which I talked about, of course. And, of course, what ends up happening is, eventually Sonya, Marco, the whole thing had happened with Marco before, and what ended up happening with Sonya was she arrived for Dobbs' cremation, and Jack is watching Sonya as Dobbs goes into the inferno. Jack refuses the ashes, and Sonya quickly offers to take them. So, definitely that was very interesting, and again, I don't know what he's hiding from her. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what he's hiding from her, because I really don't know what he is hiding from her. Definitely going to be very interesting. So, now I guess we'll go to, Daniel and Adriana. We'll go to them. Basically, let's talk about Daniel and Adriana in this episode. So, basically, what ended up happening with Daniel and Adriana was that, Daniel, the DEA agent, enlists Daniel to help look into the investigation. It's actually revealed that the DEA has been leaking information about the Quintana case to Daniel all this time. Now, the agent wants Daniel to look into Grupo Clio to see how it's connected to the investigation, and why the CIA is involved with this. Now, this is a huge lead, and Daniel and Adriana, they're winning the race against the other characters in regard to the investigation. They're the two people to keep an eye on, definitely. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. So, now we'll talk about Eleanor. We see Sebastian Cirloza talking to a sad woman in the car. She looks very sick. It seems like Sari Sola truly does care about her. We just found out this guy's soft spot, and he's on his way to see Eleanor, who is actually seeming normal. She actually seemed normal in this episode. She didn't do anything creepy. So, she's very stuck with romance novels, playing with her car, and Sari Sola's there to get for some perspectives on how things are, and Eleanor admits that the money left them exposed, but she can fix the fragile situation. The same gang of kids who had robbed Ray and stole Galvin's drugs are having a house party. So, yeah, that was definitely very interesting. I talked about this before, but, what else is there to talk about? We do get some updates on Charlotte's situation. Monty is driving her and Ray to a property that Galvin has transferred into her name. It's the same place that housed Eleanor's massacre in the opening of Season 2. So, it seems like Ray's plan of running to Alaska was actually a very good idea, because that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to run to Alaska, of course. So, I thought that was definitely a good idea what he did. So the only other thing, really, I think that's pretty much all I really need to talk about that happened in this episode. And, what else is there really to say? I don't know what else to say about this episode. I don't know, this episode had a lot that happened, but it wasn't like... There was a lot that happened in this episode, definitely, but it wasn't like a huge episode except for that ending. The ending was definitely very big. Marco is definitely coming after Tate. I mean, Marco is definitely coming after Tate. We pretty much confirmed it after the end of this episode, that Marco is definitely coming after Tate. It's not going to be good for Tate in the end. As far as Sonya goes, again, I have no idea what Jack and Hank are hiding from her. It's going to be really sad to see what happens when Jack and Hank are hiding from her. I really don't look forward to her reaction. It's going to be really sad to see how she reacts to that, definitely. Eleanor, what do you guys think of seeing Eleanor actually calm in this episode? I thought that was interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with Eleanor. We'll have to see. Daniel and Adriana, I don't know what's going to happen with Daniel and Adriana. Is he going to, is it going to, we have to keep an eye on them. I don't know what's going to happen with them. We'll have to see what happens there. Definitely it's going to be interesting. Now, the other thing to talk about, of course, is what's going to happen to Charlotte. Going to Alaska is definitely a good idea. And we'll have to see what happens when they go to Alaska. I don't know where the show's going to go from here, but I guess we'll just have to see. But overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought this was a very good episode. By far, best episode of the season. Really, really enjoyed it. Really great episode. Not really too much to say about this episode other than what I said. But that's basically it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys in my next review, which will be my review for tonight's episode of Big Brother. Which is the huge episode because it's a double eviction, which means shit is going to go down. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.